YouTubing. Let's start all over again. Her name is Frau Gebhardt. And she was Mrs. Gebhardt, she was my German teacher in my 7th grade. And when I was having a German class and I'm 13 years old, Frau Gebhardt with her curly hair, her big glasses, her bubbly behavior, very energetic, she put the first essay topic in front of me. And for the first time in my life, I was confronted, 13 years old, with communication and structure. And I had to do an opening, I had to write an introduction, then some arguments, and then a closing. And it's the same in public speaking, because public speaking, the big bang of public speaking is Struktur. And because I'm German, I'm predestined to talk about Struktur. Hi, Conor. Yeah, the new microphone was a great idea. I should have redone the USB when I initiated the computer again. Wow, this is a big lesson learned. Now I will cut the beginning out. That's it. Mic is working now. So much better, the sound. This is Conor's recommendation. This is Rode. Where's it from? Is it Norwegian, Swedish? Sounds like Swedish. Amazing. The sound changes. Yeah, I was just saying, first essay in my life, 7th grade, 13 years old, structured communication and public speaking, like anything in communication. The big bang is structure. Today is all about structure. And I'm really looking forward to your questions with structure in public speaking. Now, I love structure, not only because I'm German. I think it's the beginning of everything. Yesterday, we talked about storytelling. Number 5, public speaking Q&A number 5 on storytelling. Stories transmit what? Or they touch what? Your emotions. Hey, Maura. Rhoda is Australian. Thank you so much. Do you have it? It's amazing. It's so heavy, so small and so heavy. Like good words in speaking. So small, but so heavy. Yeah, structure. I'm not only talking about it because I'm German. No, I love it. Yesterday's storytelling, all stories that we touch your emotions with, I put them in structure. All metaphors, like Martin Luther King Jr., we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. In structure. All humor. Yeah, and then I moved to the most exciting town, the sexiest town of the United States, Boise, Idaho. All I put it in structure. It's the big bang. Do you have any questions for, yeah, Conor, Rhoda sounds so German, but you see it has here this, the line, that looks so Swedish or Danish. They always have that. Any question on structure? Otherwise, I will do another monologue here, which I don't like so much. Love the backdrop today. Yeah, thank you, Conor. Amazing. Today, I'm prepared. If you have no question, you see, I'm a visual guy. I draw always mind maps and visualizations. Maybe that's why I wrote 102 visual tips, which was like the microphone in this session today. Hi, Christian. Like the microphone today. I have already 2 fuck-ups today. 2 already. The one just happened. I did everything. I checked the microphone. I start, and you don't hear me because I should have checked it again. Double check. And the first fuck-up this morning, my book is online, Amazon, my new ebook, 102 visual tips. I'm so excited. And I write a blog post to be on LinkedIn and everyone. And then I check the inside look, when you can look inside in Amazon, and it's all yellow and with underlined orange, the whole text, totally screwed up. My producer, Jaume, and we have no idea why. So now I upload it again, waiting for the result. Any question on structure? Christian, you're German, you're a politician, you must know about structure. I said at the beginning that essay is my first contact when I was 13 years old with structure and communication. Now, when I joined Toastmasters, I mentioned Toastmasters International, toastmasters.org in every single call because this is my family, my rhetorical family, biggest public speaking club in the world. And the second project, I remember 14 and a half years ago, Barcelona, second project. we have manuals, and then you can prepare your speeches, you choose your topic, and then it was organize your speech. And the first thing when I went pro 10 and a half years ago, the first thing is I put this, organize your speech, into a visual. And this is the most important document I have as a professional speaker and corporate trainer. This is in one page, in one PDF. And I will post now the link. Feel free to download it. In one page, you can, in 4 simple steps, create this in German. Mora, this in German. Don't, this is German. And German is beautiful. Inhalte sammeln. And 3 auswählen. Don't even think about it. I have this in English online. And what it is in the end, I thought, organize your speech. There's an opening in a persuasive talk. There's an opening. There are 3 arguments, 3 points you make. 3 is the magic number. And then, of course, a closing. And then I thought, well, dude, that's a Greek temple. That is not rocket science. This is him. That's no rocket science. So I put it in this Greek temple, and ever since I used this, and I would love to talk about, es ist auf Deutsch, Conor, yes, but I have it in English online. Don't you worry. What structures work in speeches? We have logo space, past, present, future. What other organization structures do you know of? Thank you very much. In the back, this is self-sponsorship. This is not advertising. Right now, we're all at home. Tomorrow, we have with friends the first Rhetoric game night. And in that game, the physical board game, which would be this one, which you cannot have right now, but you can have it as an app if you go to your shops. There is a die. We have that visualized also in the app. Conor, here you see the die. And you have to throw it, and 5 structures are there. So we have this one here. Yeah, you can see that. Pro and contra. Pro and contra. Debating structure, Brexit, English, Parliament. Then you would have this one. Very simple. Mrs. Miller, we have to talk about 3 things today. 1, 2, 3. Simple. 1, 2, 3 structure. Very simple. Everything with structure is about simplicity, which is, of course, the most complex thing in the world. Then we have this one. This is my favorite. Good, better, best. Good, better, best. Classical climax structure. It builds up. Good, better, best. I will say something about this in a second. Then we have, you mentioned this already, Conor. Past, present, future. Super for ethos. Where do we come from in the company? Where are we today? Conor, you in Vistage, Spain. Where are you today? Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Oh, that is so visionary. That's the past, present, future one. That's very good. And then very funny for humorous speeches, you can use, of course, when you roast somebody. You know what a roast is? When you roast someone. Have you heard about Don Rickles? The 55 years legendary comedian and actor. I never knew about him, and I found out now that I'm at home. YouTube, I watch Don Rickles up and down. He always roasted people. He always had fun with people. And the bad, worse, worst structure, so it's an opposite of the climax, bad, worse, worst. It's wonderful for humorous speeches. Now, what do we have here? Christian Gunzenheimer, when do you think the speech structure building you refer to, I guess, with SSB is more important for the audience than for the speaker? When do you think the SSB is more important for the audience than for the speaker? Is it when do you think? Or do you want to say, what is it? Is it more important for the audience or the speaker? Can you clarify this? Because when, I don't really know what I want to say with the when. I know the answer would be missing. Still, would the game be a one-player two? Now you're talking SBLLDS. SBLLDS. Are you talking about the game now? Well, I play sometimes against myself because I'm a freak, but it's for 2 to 8 players. Christian, it helps the speaker when he is Stärkung. Okay, I will try, and Yoda says do or do not, there is no try. But yet I will try when he's starting as a speaker. Okay. I've been with rhetoric, with public speaking. It's my greatest passion for almost 15 years now, and professionally, 10 and a half. I worked with 104 clients in 15 countries in 32 sectors. I've seen evaluated, moderated evaluations of 10,938 speeches, which I count in Excel. Structure is the big bang. So nothing without structure. Any story has a structure, we get there. It helps both. The audience, of course, for clarity. Logos, logic. Logos, the word, the logic. It makes sense. Logos, it makes sense. One of 3 modes of persuasion of Aristotle. Mr. Aristotle, smartest guy of all times. Excluding, of course, Conor Neill here in the chat. Now, structure is clarity because you have an opening, the foundation of your speech, leading towards the message. It shows why you care. Why are you the one to talk about it? Why is it relevant? All this you can cover in the opening, and you get to the message. Then you have to prove the message with arguments. 1, 2, 3. I call it ABC, like the blocks here. I've done speeches with 2 pillars. I've done speeches with 5 pillars. I've done keynote speeches with 4 pillars. 3 is the magic number. Tic-tac-toe, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The 3 little piggies. Gut, besser, Paulaner, the German beer brand advertising. The new iPad 2 slimmer, lighter, faster, always 3. And the roof to conclude, message, and action. It's all clear. It's logic. So Christian, for me, there must be always structure. Whether you're a beginner or very experienced, I've done anything in those 15 years. I've done anything. Without structure, it's a sandcastle. That's a splattering in the bar. Blah, 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 blah. And you can blah, blah, blah for 5 hours. I can do that. And I do that at cocktail parties sometimes. But you're not getting anywhere. You don't move your audience to action. You don't inspire them. You need structure. For you, the speaker, oh, hell, man. I always say when I did my second project at Toastmasters 14 and a half years ago, structure became my new notes. Structure became my new note. Structure replaced my notes. Come on, you have 3 arguments. You put 3 words and 3 pillars. You can talk for 2 hours about that in a structured way. It helps me tremendously. Okay, Conor, can you pull out a rhetoric card now and deliver a short speech online now? Oh. With structure, huh? Conor, with structure. Okay, I will use anger is a very good word for all the people who are at home now and they're so angry about their children because they don't stop bothering them. I don't know why they put anger here. So these are the topic cards, one of 4 challenges in the game. And Conor wants me to give a short speech, let's say a 1-minute speech on a topic, a random topic. There are 50 of them here. Juan Carlos, I will get back to you in a second. Conor just challenged me to give you, the rhetoric game, the physical version, same one online in the app, of course. I will choose a card, okay? I don't see the card, and I'm not a magician. In the kitchen over there, 15 meters away from here, right now, there's my special rose. Special rose from Malaysia, long hair. When she goes to cocktail parties, because she's from Eastern Malaysia, she was a Deutsche Banker for many years, more than 2 decades. She always says at cocktail parties, I'm a real headhunter. And Rose, for 11 years that we're together, taught me about many things, especially about gratefulness. Every day I run normally, right now I cannot run. I run and I pass now the woods, the forest, the trees, the grass. I say thank you to nature. It's time to thank nature for 3 obvious reasons. Say thank you, nature, for showing us who is the real boss. It's not Donald, it's not Putin, it's nature. And we feel it right now. every one of us. Say thank you to nature, to showing us to be humble. Second, say thank you to nature, because I'm quite agnostic, not very religious, but I believe in something. And that something is nature, whatever you want to call it, it's nature. And I want to say thank you to that unknown person, female, male, neutral, because I don't know. Maybe it's good to think. And the third and most important reason to say thank you to nature is to thank nature that in the future we can live together, that they give us another chance, another chance. Say thank you for giving us another chance after this virus to change our mindset and for helping us to make that happen. For the first time we work together. This is a great chance. And for these three reasons that I thank you to make us feel humble once in life, because she shows us who is the boss. And nature is the force of everything that we should always be thankful for. And because we get another chance. That's why say thank you to nature, like I will do once I can run again on the hill up here, while Rose is waiting for me in the kitchen with a great, great Corona beer. So that was something else. Conor just made me to talk about nature in a structured way. You see, I do an introduction. I lead to the message. Say thank you to nature. Then I give you 3 reasons. I made them up, but I feel them. Don't invent. It's in you. And I didn't know the third one even while I was beginning to talk about the first. Christian, you're a politician here. Christian. Don't politicians do the same when they're asked, somebody asks them, can you say something about, yeah, there are 3 issues here. Do you know the third point when you start with the first? In the spontaneous talking, I don't. And I'm convinced politicians, it's exactly the same. But structure keeps it all together. And what did I do right now at the end? Conor, that was a fantastic idea. Stop after such a speech on nature. Say, thank you, nature. I need some natural wine sip. Do you have some drinks at home? Martin Spitznagel, good rain gutter. Thank you so much. Oh, Bernhard Friesen. Can you give example for the Regenrohr? Okay, in German, because German is so beautiful, it's called Regenrohr. In English, it's drain pipe. And in Spanish, la tubería. Everything sounds better in Spanish, doesn't it? Now, this is when you go back from the end to the beginning. You close, you make the speech go full circle. Frodo must go back home. What I did right now is I started my 3-4 minute speech with Rose, my partner, in the kitchen. And at the end, I will have a beer in the kitchen with Rose together. This is the drain pipe. You finish it like you begin. I'm a fanatic drain pipe builder. Make it in a way that you really go back to the first sentence. I've experienced many speakers in my trainings. We do so many speeches, 4 speeches in 2 days, each training. So I 8 people average. I hear so many. When you do not go to the first sentence, then it feels like there's another ending coming. Go to the first sentence. It will always be very good. Canonada in Catalan. Wow, awesome. Català. Ben Friesen, it is. Christian, it is, and the bad politicians tell always the same 3 points. So do you tell the same 3 points, Christian, always? Regenrohr. Yeah, Bernhard Friesen. I just gave you the example. Any other question? Did I miss something? This is something else. Yeah. Juan Carlos Duran. Do you have a structure for developing each argument? You can do that, of course. And we will get now to one of the smallest structural elements with huge impact. Huge impact. And people just don't care about it. I'm referring to the signpost. At the end of my opening here, at the end, I always build a signpost. Think about the last time you were wandering through the woods. You went to the mountains in Austria, Bavaria, in the Pyrenees, in France, somewhere, in the Normandy, wherever you wander around. Is there a sign, a signpost that tells you Mount X in a couple of kilometers? Does it say River Y in several kilometers? In a few? No, it says 5.2. But when we speak, when we communicate, we don't put signposts. And for structure, for logos, for logic, it is so important for the audience to have a structural indication. What is coming? We can always follow, completely logical. And that is the signpost. What I just said in my speech about nature that Conor asked me to give, I said, say thank you for 3 reasons. Thank you, nature, for 3 reasons. 3 reasons. That is a signpost. Once in a training, a lady said this, very poetic. In my life, there were 3 moments that meant a before and an after. Wow. You can be creative. On the road to success, there are like 5 big blocks. And here today with you, in the next 20 minutes, I will get read with you together these 5 blocks on the road to success. 5 blocks, a metaphorical signpost. Now to your question, do I use structure in the arguments, in the pillars as well? If it's a longer talk, I for sure do. I would say 2 aspects we have to have in mind here in this area. But always make very clear that you are in this aspect so they don't mix up 2 with 3. If you mix signposts and it's not really crystal clear, 1, then the audience gets confused. And I've heard it so many times. Then the feedback is always, I got lost somewhere. Dude, man, I got lost. I don't know when. And also feedback always is, I received it too. Could be less numbers, huh? Could be less structure. But that's very, but that's very rare. More structure, better speech. More structure, better speech. That is a given in public speaking and in communication generally. More questions? You know how I talk? You know, when I talk to clients, potential prospects, potential clients on the phone, I talk like this now. Oh, why I should work with you? Well, you should work with me. 3 reasons. This is how I talk. I structure everything. Even in the bar, I would say, there are 2 aspects we have to have in mind. Oh, by the way, my hand, I always do automatic. I don't know. I cannot not do it. Oh, it's automatic. Why do I do this? Any more questions here? Bernhard, any more questions? Reagan roar. You really love your Reagan roar. The drain pipe. Job Vivas, if you only 1 story in your speech, do you still, if you only have 1 story. Great question. Just a second, Bernhard, we will get there. Do I use that signpost and this whole structure in a story? Yesterday, we talked about stories. The epiphany of storytelling is the hero's journey. And yesterday I told you, look for public speaking Q&A number 5. There is everything on story. Did I just say everything on story? There can be a half-hour thing with everything on story. We will have a lot of stuff with stories in the future here. But CSI, which I call underdog leaves home, faces a challenge, then struggle, makes it climax, and then inspiration because he learns something that is the inspiration for the audience. He comes back home. Now Frodo is the hero and the king bows. Challenge, struggle, inspiration. These are my CSI structures, which I use for my storytelling. And if you have 3 letters, like the series, CSI, job, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to put the same thing in my structure. It doesn't say ABC, it's CSI. You can use this speech structure building for anything. And of course, in this case, I do not say, ladies and gentlemen, there will be 3 chapters in my story about my biggest regret in life. Here comes chapter number 1. Like in a boxing ring? No. That is artificial. Don't do artificial stuff. Be natural, tell a story. If my entire thing is 1 story, Then I will use CSI. I will structure though very clearly. The challenge happens, something happens, something changes, and then the struggle. And there will be a clear transition, a clear change. Bernard, how can I create a good message? Oh, Bernard, a message is, of course, part, like everything is part inside the structure. The whole content of your speech, you have to put it into structure. I will dedicate a full session on message. It is far too important to just say now, it has to be Instagrammable, which it has to be Instagrammable. If it's not Instagrammable, your message is gone. But let me dedicate to this a whole session, because then we can either interactively create sample messages, dummy messages. It is so important. This is your most important. That's the essence of your speech. Far too important to just say it now in one sentence. But definitely we will do a session on message building. With my coaching sessions, when I have speech coaching, I normally do 4-hour sessions for entire speech from 0 to 100, everything in terms of content. We dedicate more or less 20 to 30 minutes, imagine, Bernard, 20 to 30 minutes only on those 3, 4, 5 words, your message. Job, when using a CSI structure, should content blocks have to have the same length? This is always the case when I give 3 arguments to persuade you to do something, to take action. Adopt a dog for 3 good reasons. First reason, you're never home alone. Second reason, you do something good for society, for karma. Third, these blocks, Job, I will always put in a clear length equilibrium. Same length. The importance of the emotional value inside the blocks rises. I love to use climax, good, better, best, and I raise the emotional level in my pillars. And when you think that numbers don't have emotions and facts and figures or graphs or KPIs or metrics, my friend Mark Brown, my coach and friend, forward creator of my new book, 102 Visual Tips, he always says, Florian, don't look for the numbers, look for the stories behind the numbers. There, yes, Job, in a story, it is almost impossible. You cannot do that because the challenge comes. Gandalf comes into the village, into the Shire, and now the ring has to be destroyed. But then come 10 hours of struggle. Yeah, that doesn't work always. I don't do that. Story must be naturally falling into its place. Some tip for rhetoric. Tomorrow, the session, I will focus on rhetorical devices, rhetorical figures, one of my absolute, I have so many passions, but this is, in public speaking, a big passion of mine is rhetorical devices. And one I want to already mention, because when you have a speech and you have your argument here, and then you would put all the content here, there's 2 rhetorical devices you can use for repetitive reason. Tomorrow we talk about rhetorical devices. Many rhetorical devices follow patterns. One of them is repetition, like the ebizeuxis. This is glorious, glorious, glorious. Repetition works, repetition works, repetition works. When you enter your blocks, 2 tips. At the beginning, you could use anaphora. Anaphora. You start with the same beginning of the clause, like let freedom ring, let freedom ring, let freedom ring, Martin Luther King Jr., 1963, Lincoln Memorial. Now, anaphora is cool because say thank you to nature because. I said that in my little dummy speech for Conor 3 times. I repeated even the message. In this case, I repeated the message, which I normally don't do. But you could always start with the same beginning. Sport is important because sport is important because sport is important because that's enough for. And then I just posted it. I have a group for my ex-training participants, my charisma boosters, my fellow charisma boosters. And there is, today I posted, watch it. Come on, watch it. Go to YouTube, do yourself a favor. We're all sitting at home now. JFK, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, 1963 in June, in Berlin, his massive speech, Ich bin ein Berliner. Watch it, because he uses in his speech, which is 6 minutes only. Check it out. Ich bin ein Berliner, JFK. He does the opposite of the anaphora at the end of 4 blocks in his speech. There's 4 blocks as a part of his speech, and at the end he repeats. And this, for the nerds here in the group, is called epistrophe. Epistrophe is when you repeat at the end. He said something like at the start, 4 blocks. There are many people who say blah, 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 blah. Let them come to Berlin. There are some who say doodle, 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 doodle. Let them come to Berlin. And there are some who even say doodle, doodle, let them come to Berlin. And in the 4th time, amazing, he breaks the pattern, because breaking pattern breaks monotony. Monotony is boring. Don't always do the same thing. In the 4th block, says, lassen Sie nach Berlin kommen. He switches to German. Let them come to Berlin. Can you imagine those people, 50,000 plus people, in front of the Schöneberg in Berlin, the town hall in West Berlin, how they cheer and yell when he does his 3rd, let them come to Berlin. Very powerful, very powerful. And you can do that, epistrophe, at the end of your blocks in any speech. Yeah, Christian, that's so cool. Alle albernen Alliteration funktionieren. Alliteration. All these rhetoric devices tomorrow. Sarah Bonjog, come tomorrow. You will love it, because, hey, come on. It's good to know. No. It's good to know rhetoric devices. Detecting them is better. To use them is gold. But this is for tomorrow. We've reached our limit here today on structure. Is there something I really forgot? Stage is another one, how to use the structure on stage. That will be another call. No, this is it. I talked about the orders, different structure orders. The whole general structure of a persuasive talk is this one here, a Greek temple. We had examples. We even had a dummy speech on nature. Thank you, Conor. That was amazing to make me give a rhetoric speech here live. See you tomorrow with more on public speaking, Q&A on public speaking, number 7 then. And tomorrow is everything about rhetorical devices. Hasta la vista. Can't wait to be here with you again. Stay safe and hasta la vista.